Oi pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é a Luciana da Street Smart Brazil. So you've had a long day and you're feeling kind of tired to go out tonight. How do you express this idea of kind of in Portuguese? One way to do this is to use meio, followed by the adjective that describes how you feel. But here is where so many people, including Brazilians, get it wrong. If you are a woman, do you say meio or meia? This is really easy to get right. In this Portuguese lesson, I will tell you when to use meio or meia. You will learn everything about the word meio. If you want to skip straight to meio, meaning kind of, you can use the video chapters in the video description to go straight there. If you want to understand the whole picture, keep watching. And before we get into the real deal here, I want to get this out of our way. Meia in the feminine, yes, it means sock. It's another meaning of the word. It's not what we're going to talk about here today. And the plural meias, socks. And as such, the word meia is a feminine noun. It's always feminine. But like I said, this is not what this lesson is about, so let's move on. The word meio has different translations into English. It can be a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. But do not worry if you dislike grammar. You do not need it to get what I will teach you in this lesson and to say things right from now on. The first meaning of meio that we're going to see here is when it means means. Like means of transportation or means of communication. Meio is a masculine noun in the sense of means. In this function, meio has a plural version, but not a feminine version. You will see that in the examples that I will show you in just a moment. This is true for nouns in general. You can have computador, and yes, Spanish speakers, computer is masculine in Portuguese. And you can have two computadores. So there is a plural version of computador, but there is not a feminine version of it. It's a masculine noun. The same thing happens with meio when it means means of communication, means of transportation, or the resources to do something. It's always a masculine noun. I highly recommend that you watch my lessons about the gender of nouns and the gender of adjectives in Portuguese. Understanding the general picture is truly helpful, even if you cannot memorize everything in one go. I'll put the links to those lessons in the video description. So here are examples using meio as a noun. Qual é o meio de transporte que você mais usa no seu dia a dia? So what is the means of transportation that you use most in your daily life? I'll read it again in Portuguese. I'll always read the Portuguese version twice. Qual é o meio de transporte que você mais usa no seu dia a dia? Here, the question is, what are the most used means of transportation in your country? Quais são os meios de transporte mais utilizados no seu país? Quais são os meios de transporte mais utilizados no seu país? Means of communication have undergone profound changes in recent decades. Os meios de comunicação passaram por profundas transformações nas últimas décadas. Os meios de comunicação passaram por profundas transformações nas últimas décadas. I think email is the most used means of communication at work today. Eu acho que e-mail é o meio de comunicação mais usado hoje no trabalho. Eu acho que e-mail é o meio de comunicação mais usado hoje no trabalho. The end does not justify the means. Os fins não justificam os meios. Os fins não justificam os meios. And did you notice that in Portuguese we use fins in the plural when we say this sentence? Yay! You have completed level 1. Parabéns! Congratulations! Before we move on to level 2, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. This is how you support me. Valeu! Now let's see how to use the word meio when it means middle. Meio is a noun when it means middle. It means both middle as in the center of something and middle as in a halfway point. I'll show you examples. Meio is a masculine noun when it means middle. Therefore, it may be flexed into the plural, but there is no feminine version. I fell in the middle of the street. Eu caí no meio da rua. Eu caí no meio da rua. And this is a true story. I was crossing the street in San Francisco and I twisted my foot and I fell in the middle of the street with all the cars that were stopped in the red light just like staring at me. Excuse me, you are in the middle of the way. Dá licença, você está no meio do caminho. Dá licença, você está no meio do caminho. The journey is long. We will stop halfway to eat and stretch our legs. A viagem é longa. Vamos parar no meio do caminho para comer e esticar as pernas. A viagem é longa. Vamos parar no meio do caminho para comer e esticar as pernas. Woohoo! Level 2 completed. Let's keep going. Now it gets really interesting. Meio also means half, like a fractional number, half of something. And when it means half of something, it agrees with that something in gender and number. Therefore, you have a plural version and also a feminine version. You have meio, meios, meia, meias. In this case, meio is a synonym of metade in Portuguese. The sentences would be structured a little bit differently. I am not going to give examples with metade, but I just wanted you to know this. I only had half a glass of water. Só bebi meio copo de água. Só bebi meio copo de água. And usually when we say copo de água, we put it together and we say copo d'água. Copo d'água. I only had half a cup of coffee. Só tomei meia xícara de café. Só tomei meia xícara de café. And this, by the way, is not autobiographical. This would never be me. I do not leave any coffee behind. Are you hungry? There's half a pizza in the fridge. Você tá com fome? Tem meia pizza na geladeira. And I'm using tá instead of está because that's how we usually speak in Brazil. I'll read it again. Você tá com fome? Tem meia pizza na geladeira. A bottle of wine is too much for me to drink alone. That's why I prefer to buy half bottles. Uma garrafa de vinho é muito para eu tomar sozinha. Por isso prefiro comprar meias garrafas. Uma garrafa de vinho é muito para eu tomar sozinha. Por isso prefiro comprar meias garrafas. I'm going to have lunch. It's noon. Vou almoçar. Já é meio-dia e meia. You see, meio-dia e meia, literally, it translates to midday and half an hour. I'll say it again in Portuguese. Vou almoçar. Já é meio-dia e meia. I'm going to sleep. It's midnight. Vou dormir. É meia-noite. Vou dormir. É meia-noite. The meeting lasted half an hour. A reunião durou meia hora. A reunião durou meia hora. The event will last half a day. O evento vai durar meio-dia. O evento vai durar meio-dia. I have a lesson with everything you need to know to tell the time in Portuguese. All the details you need to know to tell the time correctly. So I'll put a link to that lesson in the video description. Alright, now we're going to the best part of the lesson. When meio means kind of, somewhat, a little. The word meio is an adverb when it means kind of, somewhat, a little. And as an adverb, it does not vary. It's always meio. In this case, meio is a synonym of pouco. It's common to see Brazilians getting this wrong, but it's pretty easy for you to remember this. When meio means kind of, sort of, somewhat, a little, in English, it is always just meio in Portuguese. It is masculine singular, always. Imagine a stubborn dog or a kitty. Kitties are stubborn. I have two, I know that. You want your cat to get out of the kitchen counter, but the cat just will not. True story. When meio means kind of, it is that stubborn. It's always meio. You cannot change it. So let's see examples. I'm kind of tired today. And this is me saying, I'm a woman, or it's any woman saying. Estou meio cansada hoje. So meio remains in the masculine. Estou meio cansada hoje. Or I would actually say tô instead of estou, tô. Tô meio cansada hoje. In this example, Paulo says, Dora can't find the documents that I gave her yesterday. And Dora is a short for auxiliadora. It's a woman's name. So in Portuguese, Dora não está encontrando os documentos que entreguei a ela ontem. Hold on. The Meio comes in the next slide. So I'll read it again. Dora não está encontrando os documentos que entreguei a ela ontem. And then Clara answers. Dora is kind of disorganized. Dora é meio desorganizada. Dora é meio desorganizada. So I really want you to notice this. In this sense, in this meaning of kind of, meio remains in the masculine singular, even if it refers to a woman. And you will see one example even when it refers to multiple people, even when the rest of the sentence is in the plural. It's coming soon. So my friend Rafa says, let's catch a movie today. Vamos pegar cineminha hoje? So in Portuguese, it's more of a question, right? But in English, it's a suggestion that is not a question. Again, in Portuguese, vamos pegar cineminha hoje? And then I say, oh, today it won't be possible. I'm kind of sick. Hoje não vai dar. Estou meio doente. Hoje não vai dar. Estou meio doente. Vai dar, or in this case the negative, não vai dar, is a really used idiom in Brazil. It means it won't be possible, or vai dar, yes, it will be possible. And I have a lesson with idioms using the verb dar. I'll put a link in the video description. And here's the example in the plural that I mentioned. Cecilia and Clara are kind of stressed with their boss. Cecília e Clara estão meio, masculine singular, meio estressadas com o chefe delas. Cecília e Clara estão meio estressadas com o chefe delas. Parabéns! You've done it! Now, all you need is to practice what you have just learned so that you can put it in autopilot. Street Smart Brazil offers what apps, videos, and books cannot do for you. When you learn with our Portuguese teachers, you get to advance your Portuguese by practicing real-life conversations with real people who are incredibly trained to teach you Portuguese in a simple, effective, and practical manner. I invite you to visit our testimonials page on our website. You will see how our clients like speaking Portuguese with us. Book a trial lesson with us to test drive our classes. The trial lesson is a 30-minute Portuguese lesson, and I am confident that you will learn something new during your trial lesson, no matter your language level. Our trial lesson is not a sales pitch. It is a Portuguese lesson. We want to show you what we can do for you and your Portuguese. To book a trial lesson, visit our website, streetsmartbrazil.com, and I will put a link directly to the trial lesson page in the video description. Muito obrigada for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Feliz português para você. Tchau, tchau.